Let's kick it. Yeah, we out of house. Yo, kick it. Kick it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of American Soccer Quick Kicks. I'm your host, David Wright. I'm sorry I'm a little late with this episode. I wanted to put this out a day earlier. I've been feeling a little under the weather this week, so you probably be able to tell that I won't be able to match my normal energy. But I'm here to talk to you about the end of round one of Champions League. Before I get started, though, I just want to say I got a couple of folks giving me a hard time when I had my Atlanta shirt on, my Atlanta hat. You see the Atlanta flag in the background. You know what? I don't hate any MLS club. I know I've got fans of St. Louis, Miami, Charlotte, New England, Seattle, and maybe some others I'm not thinking of right now that are watching this show. And I'm just here to tell you, Nashville, I'm just here to tell you, you want to send me a hat? I'll wear it on the air. I would love to have a collection of MLS club hats. So I'm not going to, I wear Atlanta because I'm talking to MLS, but if I had another hat, I'd wear that too. Next week, we've got the U.S. in action, starting with we have a pair of friendlies starting next week, but I will spend next episode talking about the U.S. men's national team. That roster has been announced. But I'm here tonight to talk to you about what happened in leg 2 of Champions League. I think I explained last time that with the 2 legs of round 1, the way they determine who advances in the tournament is they take the aggregate score. They add up both final scores of the two legs to see who goes forward. And if there's a tie, the first thing they look at is who scored the most away goals. So we saw that rule, that the oddity of that aggregate rule come into play all across leg 2 for MLS clubs. First of all, Philadelphia did advance. That was pretty straightforward. They had a scoreless draw in leg 1. They won their second match. They go forward. But then we saw Vancouver and LAFC both lost their matches in leg 2, but they advanced in the tournament because the aggregate score was in their favor. We also saw Orlando. They played Tigres to a draw twice, 0-0 in Mexico, and then 1-1 at home. So Tigres is perhaps the best club in this hemisphere. And for Orlando to play them to a draw twice is enormously successful for Orlando. Now, because they gave up that goal to Tigres in Orlando, that 1-1, so that away goal gives it to Tigres. So even though Orlando played Tigres twice to draws, they are done with this tournament. Tigres will advance on that weighted goal rule, but congratulations to Orlando. They showed very, very well. They hung in there with Tigres twice, so that's pretty awesome. And then the last one to talk about is Austin, and I want to talk about this a little bit more. I explained how they embarrassed themselves and embarrassed the league when they had to go to the Dominican Republic in leg 1 to play the Haitian team named Violette, and they lost and looked really bad doing it. They came back to Austin for leg 2 and needed to be able to get 3 goals just to force penalty kicks. They needed 4 in order to win it outright. And to Austin's credit, they came out attacking. It was an exciting game to watch because they just went after it. They had more than 20 shots by halftime. They ended up winning their match 2-0. They won, but they got eliminated from the tournament. This is historically significant for the Haitian club. You have to understand that not only was this barely a professional club to begin with, but they could not even bring all their players into the United States because of work visa issues. So to even put a team on the field, they had to recruit amateur players once they got stateside and to sign them up to play in this game. Now, apparently, they anticipated this problem, and they kind of already had these guys lined up as on the potential, like the reserve roster. Anyway, these names were submitted in advance of the tournament, so it's not like they were just grabbing at random people after everything got started. They had identified these people, and then they had to reach out to them and kind of activate them, bring them into the club. So this Haitian club faced leg 2. They had never played together. So they barely had a chance to meet, and their mission was to go out on that field as a group of strangers. And by the way, they only had 3 players on the bench. They barely had enough to field a squad. And their mission was to not lose by 3 goals. And they played defense for 90 minutes. And Austin scored 2. And they had two more that were called back, one on a handball in the box, one for offside, both of which were borderline and could have gone either way. And then there was another incident where it looked like an Austin player, Jauzi Sardes, was fouled in the box and should have been awarded a PK. None of those went Austin's way. They could have easily won the game 5-0. Instead, they won it 2-0 and are eliminated. And somehow, against all odds, this little bitty Haitian club that couldn't even bring enough players to the United States, had to recruit amateurs once they got here. They eliminate Austin. For a Caribbean team to eliminate an MLS team is huge. It's gigantic. So while it is embarrassing for Austin, they did play well, play very strongly, and played well enough to win and to advance. They played well enough to advance. The calls just didn't go their way. But let's just pause and give some shine to Violette of Haiti for what they've been able to do. And you got to just feel good for those guys. They find themselves qualified for the quarterfinals of CCL. So that does, and I think I mentioned Vancouver and LA advanced. Orlando and Austin got eliminated. So what we're going to see is there's a little bit of a break for round two, but this tournament's actually going to take place in a fewer amount of months than we've seen in the past. Round two is coming up in just 3 weeks. April 4th begins leg one of round two, and Vancouver and LA are going to face each other, which means we're guaranteed at least one MLS club in the semifinals. And Philadelphia is the other MLS club that has advanced. LA and Philadelphia were the top teams in the league last year. They were both neck and neck for the Supporter Shield. I think Philadelphia lost the Supporter Shield to LA on decimal points, just on tiebreakers. And they met each other in MLS Cup, and they went all the way into extra time. They got it tied up in extra time. It was an epic showdown. And both trophies came down to the wire, just came down to the smallest of margins. The final was an all-time classic. But as it went, LA ended up with both of those trophies. Philadelphia, for all their quality, came away last year with no trophies to show for it. So this is their chance. This is a chance for this club, this version of the club, to win a trophy, because they're looking strong. They're looking strong in the regular season. They're looking strong here in CCL. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we're getting ready for match day 4 of the MLS season coming up this weekend, March 18th. We have so many games. The one I want to tell you about is the one that you can watch for free. It's free on Apple TV. It's also free on Fox, the broadcast network. These are two of the best teams in the league facing off against each other, Seattle versus LAFC. This is probably a playoff matchup, probably a conference final preview. These two teams are among the very best. They're both in the top 3 of the league. A quality marquee matchup. You want to see MLS at its best, check out Seattle LAFC. Tomorrow, as I record this, Saturday, March 18th. Like I said, the United States is in camp. They've announced the roster. They have 2 matches coming up, March 24th and 27th, and they will be Nations League matches. And I will have more to say about that in my next episode. I will switch hats, and I will talk about the U.S. men's national team and everything that's involved in that competition and what it means, and the quality, and talk a little bit about the roster and who are the players that we've brought in. So anyway, I hope you're excited with me. I hope you're excited with me for CCL. Even if you're not going to follow the league too much this year, follow the Champions League, because the stakes are even higher and it's over sooner. Okay, so this round 2 will start April 4th. And you can be sure that I will keep you up to date with everything you need to know right here on American Soccer Quick Kicks. So until next time, watch some soccer with me, and I'll talk to you later.